Welcome back. It is Wednesday, November 27th in the NBA. My 7 best bets are on the way. We have a big slate of NBA action tonight. Let's dive in. As always, my name's Austin. We do a recap to start the video. It was another good day for us. 3-2, winning almost 1.5 units. We're now on a 16-7 run. Been a pretty good last, 5 or 6 days for us in the association. Let's talk about our winners. Day 1 of the ladder challenge. Great work, fellas. We'll have day 2 later on today. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Alprin Şengün, we didn't deserve to cash that one. I won't lie to you. He played one of the worst 10 to 15 minute stretches I've ever seen from a big man, but he managed to come through. What did he shoot? 9 for 23 or something stupid? We'll take it. Lakers and Suns, same game parlay, cashed. Hero did not come through. He ended with 23. He missed 2 3-pointers right at the end that would have cashed for us. And then the Jazz just couldn't close the deal. They were up 7 in the second half. They just did not get the job done. But either way, 3-2 day, we'll take that. There are no NBA games on tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there. I'm very thankful that you guys watch the videos every day and are in this community, either in the comments, liking, subscribing. Certainly appreciate it from Logan and myself. So thank you guys again. Have a great Thanksgiving. We won't have an NBA video tomorrow. Later on this afternoon, we should have our NFL Thanksgiving video drop. So you can definitely tap into that, see what we're rolling with on Thanksgiving. I think on Thanksgiving Day, I have our college football video scheduled as well. Either way, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to us. But you know what? Enough of that. Let's dive into some winners. And it starts with 3 props. Then we go to Logan's cake of the day. Then we end with 2 same game parlays. Let's do it. Jared McCain, first pick of the day, over 19.5 points, minus 120 on BetMGM. McCain obviously plays for the Philadelphia 76ers, the rookie. And is he leading the rookie of the year race right now? Who knows? Either way, let's hope he dives in and he can clutch up for us for 20 points tonight. Now, obviously, the Sixers are a banged up squad. They're still down Paul George. Joel Embiid is also out. This lands a lot of the production going on to Tyrese Maxey, who might be off his minutes restriction tonight, and Jared McCain. End of the day, they don't really have many other scorers out there. And in McCain's last 8 games, even with some of these guys involved, he's averaged 25 a game. He scored 27, 23, 34, 29, 20, 20, 30, and 18 points. In his last game, the only game he technically went under, 3 for 15 from the field, 10 of 12 from the free throw line. Now, what I love to see there is, hey, the shot wasn't falling. In fact, he airballed a couple shots. But when the shot's not falling, he attacked the hoop, got to the free throw line. That's obviously something we would love. If we don't want a guy that's just, when the shot's not falling, sure, I'll just pass it to my teammates. He can't really afford to do that. And in a tough spot versus the Rockets, I think that he shows up tonight because they're going to need his scoring prowess. Now, the Rockets are obviously coming off that that overtime game against the Timberwolves yesterday. We'll see if their defense is locked in here. But again, the Rockets are a really good team at limiting spot-up shooters. In fact, second defensively versus spot-up shooters. Now, if you look at McCain on the season, he's averaging about 28% of his points from spot-up shooting. But let's keep in mind, that's a much different team when Paul George, Joel Embiid are getting the rock, and he's obviously a spot-up shooter in those scenarios. Not really the case here. So we've seen kind of a transition in his points. And I actually have seen him score 23% of his points in transition. 20% is the pick and roll ball handler, where the Rockets are league average 16th. He also scores 15% on free throws, where the Rockets rank 22nd. And another 7% on isolation, where they rank 29th. Again, that 7% in isolation probably goes up with Joel Embiid and Paul George out, because they're going to need the ball to basically end the possessions are going to be with Maxey or McCain. I don't see Maxey just randomly taking every single shot tonight. It's going to be a kind of a duo attack here tonight against the Rockets. I think the Sixers keep this game close. I don't see them keeping it close without one of their main scorers, if not their second main scorer. If you want to say Maxey's the first, not at least getting at least 18 to 20 points. And if he shoots well, he'll easily surpass this line. So Jared McCain, a 1-unit play, over 19.5 points. My second play is going to be a rebound play. And I think this one could soar over. It is Isaiah Hartenstein of the Oklahoma City Thunder, over 9.5 rebounds, plus money, plus 105 on Bet365. A couple other books around minus 110. I'd play this up to minus 135. I almost play the double-double, but I don't normally like counting on Hartenstein to score. It's also not the best matchup for him to score. The Warriors are one of the best teams in the restricted area, so I'll just count on him to grab some rebounds. I don't mind the points, but again, Hartenstein, if he's out there, he's not usually looking for his shots, normally trying to get it out to some of the shooters. Now, in 2 games since his return back from injury for the Thunder, Hartenstein, 14 and 10 rebounds as they faced the Portland Trailblazers and Sacramento Kings. He had 21 and 15 rebound chances, so the chances are there. In their last game against the Kings, it kind of turned into a blowout there. Also wasn't an easy matchup versus the Kings either. Portland in middle of the pack matchup, but again, he played well, got the 10 rebounds we needed. This is a much better matchup than either of those 2 games. The Warriors are allowing the most rebounds to opposing centers and the second most offensive rebounds as a team. I mean, we think about what Hartenstein is in there to do. It's to 1, end the defensive possessions. We'll talk about that in a second. And it's 2, go create extra possessions for the team, attack the offensive glass, tip it out to some shooters, or go put it up if you can get the offensive rebound. Think about the Warriors team. Do they have a lot of big rebounders? No. I mean, Trace Jackson Davis, he'll play some. Draymond Green's in there, sure. Kevon Looney, they don't really like to play him. And even if Kevon Looney or Trace Jackson Davis comes in the game, it's not like Hartenstein really has to do much defensively to play them. It's maybe going up on screens with Steph Curry out there. But again, last year we saw with the New York Knicks, when he played 25 or more minutes, he averaged over 10.5 rebounds per game. And he had 10 rebounds in 21 of 51 games with 25 or more minutes. Now you might be like, Austin, that hit rate sucks. And I get it. He had a lot of games with 9 rebounds. But let's also think about the Knicks team that he was playing with. A lot of games with Julius Randle, Josh Hart, even Mitchell Robinson, even though they didn't really overlap minutes. Josh Hart and Julius Randle, two pretty good rebounders, especially Josh Hart, one of the best guard rebounders, I would say arguably in NBA history. He's really elite at doing that stuff. So the Thunder, do they have any elite guard rebounders? No, they really don't. This is a team that gives up the most rebounds per game. There's a reason they went out and signed Isaiah Hartenstein. It's to get defensive rebounds and also get some offensive rebounds because this team just has no size. So with Chet Holmgren still out and other guys still out, he's really their only big man. I think he's locked into 30, maybe 35 minutes tonight if we're lucky. And I really think he gets 10 boards. I think this is a good spot here at plus 105. I'll play that for 1 unit. My third play is going to be one that is not on a ton of books. I don't really know. Well, I kind of know why, but I'll talk about him. It's Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz, over 18.5 points. Plus rebounds, minus 125 on FanDuel. Now, like I said, FanDuel was one of the only books that had this line out here for Kessler. I believe it is because Markkanen is potentially out for the Jazz. If Markkanen gets ruled in, maybe you see a drop in this line. Either way, I don't really care. I think Kessler either soars over or he doesn't get to it. It's kind of Kessler's game. He's either ended with like 25 points plus rebounds or he's ended with like 9. Or maybe, not probably in the 9, but probably like 13. But I like this matchup for him. Obviously, if Markkanen sits, I like it even more. But I really like this matchup because he's going to be tasked with the Nikola Jokic assignment. So Walker Kessler is going to be in there to guard Nikola Jokic. Now, there's two edges of that coin. The first one, two sides of the coin, whatever it is. One, you could get into foul trouble. You're guarding Nikola Jokic. Number two, if he avoids foul trouble, he's going to have to match minute for minute because this is a Jazz team that doesn't have a ton of size behind him. They have Filipowski still out. They don't really want John Collins guarding Nikola Jokic if it's me. And so you're going to see him kind of match Nikola Jokic's minutes. So Jokic, if he plays 36 minutes, Kessler's probably going to be right there as long as he can avoid foul trouble. He's actually done really well in this match. Earlier this season versus Denver, Kessler, 18 points and 14 rebounds, destroyed this line. He only played 29 minutes. I don't know if he got into foul trouble, did have 4 fouls, but 29 minutes, whatever. Jazz lost by 26, though. They got absolutely smoked. That was a game without Markkanen. I believe Jordan Clarkson didn't play in that game, which is, again, where we could find ourselves today. And this has been a Nuggets team that defensively, last game, they sucked against the New York Knicks. They gave up a ton of three-pointers. Basically, any shot the Knicks wanted, it went in. But this should be a spot where I could see them playing a little bit tougher. They've been pretty tough on pick-and-roll ball handlers, to be specific. So I could see Sexton or George driving. Maybe they get cut off. He could dump it off to Walker Kessler for some easy lay-ins. And we look at Kessler, 85% of his points per game in the restricted area. That's where the Nuggets rank 26th defensively. So again, Walker Kessler's not posting up, fadeaway. No, that's not really his game. If we see him doing those tonight, they need to drug test him. But again, this is just a good spot, I think, for him to absolutely dominate and get the minutes that we need. In 6 career games versus Jokic, he stepped up his play. He's averaging a double-double in 23 minutes. So 22.7 points plus rebounds in 23 minutes. That's pretty good. I put the numbers up on the screen. 22, 18, 35, 12, 17, and 32 points plus rebounds. So we look at some of the unders. One game he played 22 minutes, another 15, another 24. So, I mean, he's been pretty good, close, 18 and 17 in 2 of those games. One of them he shot 3 for 9. I mean, the odds of Kessler shooting 3 for 9 probably not too high. This is a guy that probably, I don't look at his percentages in his career, but I'd be willing to bet you Mr. Walker Kessler probably shoots 60% in his career, maybe 57%. Let's see how sharp I am, because I imagine that's probably where around he shoots. No, even higher than that. Nope, I'm not sharp. He shoots 70% from the field. In fact, he went 3 for 9 in one game. I'm not worried about it. So Walker Kessler, go dominate and go give us a good shot at cashing Logan's favorite pick of the day. Logan, I need desperately a winner from you. Logan, what you got for the people?
So, of course, the Jazz do not come through last night. Just painful in that game. Felt like they were right there. They just could not close the deal. However, I'm running back my loss here. I'm taking the Jazz plus 9.5, minus 110 odds on BetMGM. Currently your best value there. Now, again, did I feel like that was the right spot for the Jazz last night? I felt like it was. It's just late game in these fourth quarters. The team I'm backing recently, they just wet the bed. And of course, that's what happened against San Antonio last night. Back and forth game, 3 quarters, fourth quarter happens. They fold. In this matchup, though, they're getting 9.5 points. We're running back our loss because this is a very favorable spread. I think a little bit too favorable, especially with Laurie, Markkanen potentially out in that one. Would his presence help this team? Of course he would. But I'm going to go ahead and analyze this game as if he is out because he left yesterday with an injury. Look at this Nuggets team, though. 0-3 against the spread as a road favorite this season. Here they are laying 9.5 points. I don't think you can blame me for really saying, hey, let's take a shot in the Jazz again, even though they did not come through for us last night. Denver won 129-103 at home the first time these teams played. Again, that's Denver playing at home, which I'd argue is still not necessarily a lock these days. I backed Denver a few games ago against the Mavs and at home, and what did they do? They let the Mavs win that game. Nuggets defensively, I think, is kind of what's holding them back this year. They're just 17th in defensive rating. When I think this Nuggets team is elite, they're better defensively than this. And I think if we're looking at that last time these two teams played, the Nuggets shot 50% from 3 and nearly 50% from the field. I'll tip the cap if they do that again because that's just an extremely efficient shooting performance. The Nuggets defensively aren't as strong, and I think while Utah, they're bad defensively. Let's not kid ourselves there. I still think if they turn this into a higher scoring affair, which I could definitely see, that 9.5 in our back pockets really will help us. Again, it's a numbers play. At 9.5, you are getting every single key number on your side. Margin of victory does matter in the NBA. So again, if they're gonna land on 6-7 points, the 9.5 will definitely help us. So I do think while the Jazz hurt us last night, we can't necessarily turn our back on them in this spot. I think getting 9.5 is a great spot in Utah for the Jazz to get a little bit of revenge on their earlier season blowout loss that they already faced against Denver. But that'll do it for my pick. Austin, throwing it back to you.
I really hope Walker Kessler helps him out. I think the Jazz can keep it close. Normally you buy the bad news, and if Markkanen's out, they buy that bad news. Hopefully the Jazz can show up and cover tonight, unlike yesterday. If Logan doesn't cash one of his next 2 spread picks, we might have to have a conversation. Hopefully he doesn't see this. All right, let's dive into some more picks, though. We got a same game parlay, 2 of them, and then we'll talk about the ladder challenge. The first one will be in the Knicks and Mavericks game, a game that I really, really like. That is a 4-legger. These 4 legs on the screen, Jalen Brunson and Kyrie Irving, both to score 20 points, and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, both to score 10 points. Combine them all together, plus 125 on FanDuel. Our last few SGPs, knock on wood, have been hitting. Let's try to hit another one. Now, I'm not going to go too hard in depth into Kyrie Irving. I really think he's going to have to show up tonight for the Mavericks, who are back at home. I think he shows up tonight. And the Knicks ranked 28th defensively versus the pick and roll ball handler with cat and drop coverage. Kyrie is going to get a lot of volume with no Luka. I'm confident he can get us 20 points. As for the Knicks, let's talk with them. OG Anunoby has been a beast, 10 points or more in 16 straight. Bridges has 10 points in 15 of 17, coming off 2 straight down games for him shooting the basketball. Still got 10 plus in one of those. And then Brunson, 20 points in 14 of 17. I'm not going to go too hard into this analysis. I like Brunson's spot here. Not the best matchup for him, but again, this is Jalen Brunson. He has the ball in his hands a ton. And this is a Mavs team that's pretty tough on the 3-point line, which is why I don't mind backing guys like OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges. They are multifaceted scorers. They're not relying on just 3-pointers. Also, you have to think about Brunson returning back to Dallas, where he started his career, a team that didn't give up on him, but sort of did. Mark Cuban doesn't own the team anymore, right? But he doesn't like Mark Cuban. Obviously, I trust him to get 20, though. And I trust Kyrie to get 20, and I like OG and Mikal 10 plus. I like that one. That's a game I really think is a tight one. And even if it isn't, the Knicks play their start. They were playing their starters when they were up 27 with 2 minutes to go. Tom Thibodeau gives none. He does not care. So, again, I like that one. Little 4-leg SGP. My next one has an easy pivot, and it would be 2 legs on the Timberwolves. Jaden McDaniels for 10 points, and Rudy Gobert, 8+ rebounds at minus 125 on FanDuel. The Timberwolves, coming off a loss, are back at home hosting the Sacramento Kings. Now, obviously, if you need an individual line, McDaniels is probably the way to go. His line was 11.5, though, this morning. Obviously, I like 10 plus a lot better than 11.5. I do think he clears both of them, and maybe that line goes to 10.5 as the day goes on. But McDaniels over in points would be my best pick, and I hope that's what it comes down to. Gobert, though, this season, why I put him in here is he has 8 rebounds in 16 of 17. He has 10 rebounds or more in 14 straight games versus Sabonis. Obviously, Sabonis not a big shooter. He's going to be in there for size reasons. I'm confident Gobert gets his 8 boards. Coming off a loss, they need to lock it. And I think he gets his 8 boards. And hopefully this comes down to just McDaniels. It's always tough when you do an SGP, taking a guy's line down a little bit and just throwing in a juice reducer type thing, and the juice reducer loses. You don't love that. But hey, if this comes down to McDaniels and loses, I'm okay with it there. Now, McDaniels this season actually has only scored 10 points in 8 of 17 games. In 2 games for Sacramento, he scored 6 and 14. He shot 2 for 9 and 5 for 13 in those 2 games. Now, obviously, if you're telling me, hey, Austin McDaniels is going to shoot 9 or 13 times, we're going to probably take our chances there that he can get us 10 points, especially at home. McDaniels last night, if you faded him, you kind of got spared as he went 4 for 16. He could not buy a bucket, 1 for 8 from the three-point line. Can't get much worse than that, but this has been a good spot for him historically throughout his career. The Kings rank 30th defensively versus spot-up shooters, where McDaniel scores 54% of his points per game. This is a Kings team that if you start to drive on them, they're going to double you and leave the corners wide open, which is where McDaniels is camping out. McDaniels has made them pay. Last 9 games versus them, 16 points per game, 11 or more points in 8 of 9. His only miss was the game earlier this year when he went 2 for 9. Look, I think this is a good spot for McDaniels. Obviously, this is a Timberwolves team that the bench hasn't been great. DiVincenzo hasn't been great. We'll see if they're fully healthy in a back-to-back. I have no idea. But Jaden McDaniel should be out there. He's needed for defensive purposes, just avoid getting into foul trouble. And I think he scores 10. I think Rudy grabs 8 boards. That's another SGP win. I think we're going 2-0 on same-game parlays today. And then my final pick of the day will be day 2 of the ladder challenge. Now, I meant to mention at the top of the show, there's a good chance we add a play, maybe 2, down below in the pinned comment. So definitely tap into that. We'll see. There's a big slate of action. I don't want to force too many picks, but there's another 1 or 2 games that I wasn't really able to look at too hard, maybe even more than that. So stay tuned. Check out the pinned comment for any added plays. But day 2 of the ladder challenge, I'll keep it simple. We play each of them for 1 unit and plus the $10. That doesn't make sense. I'll summarize it pretty quickly here. Look, it's going to be really hard to hit a ladder challenge where you have to turn $10 into 10,000 and hit 10 straight picks. So I recommend playing each of them separate from the $10. So $10 is our investment to just try to climb and turn it to 10K. But put 1 unit on each of the ladders and you'll be pretty profitable. In the NFL or NBA, we're about break even. In the NFL, we're up like 6.5 units on the ladder. So I encourage you to check those out. But those are my favorite picks of the day. We'll have the ladder challenge live later on today. I'll say between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern time. Obviously, I send it out to the DubClub early, but I'm done yapping. If we do have an added play, check the pinned comment for any added stuff, plus the ladder. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. Big slate today. I'll see you guys back on Friday. Hopefully recapping a winning day. I'll see you guys then. Peace.